Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. I hope you're having a great day and welcome back to the Polyhedra Show. So, today we're diving into one of the most exciting and, let's be honest, most misunderstood areas of technology right now: AI agents. AI agents are everywhere. They're helping us work faster, they're automating decisions, and they're even entertaining us. But as these systems are growing more powerful, the stakes are getting higher. How do we know that they're making ethical decisions? And how do we ensure that they're trustworthy? So joining me today to unravel this, two incredible minds and the guys leading from the front here at Polyhedra, TC, of course, our co-founder and CTO, and Sam, our CMO. Together, they're helping shape how we think about trust in AI. So let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, Tony. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us again, gentlemen. I'm very excited about this chat today. I know it's a hot topic on everybody's mind. It's definitely the word of the moment right now, AI agents. So I'd really love to start with the basics here. AI agents, they're really becoming fundamental to how industries are working, from finance, healthcare, logistics, gaming. But with all this growth, there's obviously a lot of concern and skepticism. So, Sam, I'd love to ask, why do you think AI agents are such a massive focus right now? Like, should we trust AI agents?
I think AI agents, whether people know it or not, are just changing people's everyday, not just workflows at work, but everything across their lives, from maybe using your Alexa at home to turn your lights on or listen to music, through to technology utilized in driving your car to work. um you know AI agents are fundamentally everywhere, which I think like all mass adoption of technology. We saw it with social media, with Facebook, and what they went through with Cambridge Analytica. There's a there's there's a real issue when it comes to how these models are trained, and how that data is used. So our philosophy is that we're trying to create an infra layer, basically, that safeguards business privacy, user privacy, and TC and the research team have achieved that and are continuing to achieve that through EXP chain.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like, what you're saying is from the smallest tasks to things where the stakes are really high, right? Like driving your car. You're listening to the music in your car, they're controlling this, and they're literally driving the car for you. It's a lot. It's a lot. And you're putting a lot of trust into these systems. And, absolutely, there's no question they're extremely powerful. But I think a lot of people, it is like, it's very scary. It can be very scary, and people, they definitely are talking about, bias, about manipulation. If you have a self-driving car, losing control of that system, you know, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions about AI agents? And I guess, like, how are we addressing those concerns?
Good question. I mean, from my standpoint, I think it's a bit like the start of social media, an industry that I worked heavily in before Polyhedra, where people were just writing everything. They didn't really quite understand that their data would be farmed out, and they'd talk to their phone and then have products be sent for something that they didn't write. Like, in the age of social, there's been initially, the public generally doesn't think that deep, right? They don't go that next layer They just will always go to, convenience, what makes my life better, what makes my life more entertaining. And then I think as we get to the age of AI agents, turbocharged, and we've seen it. We've seen data being manipulated through people, entering their credit card details into Claude or ChatGPT, and then that private information ending up somewhere it shouldn't, and that's what, it's probably not in mainstream consensus yet. I mean, there has been a lot around what Apple are trying to do, and TC and I had a long debate on that, and it's really what these mainstream groups are kind of trying to do. No one's actually really taking the privacy and security concerns probably to the point of what they will need to be. And again, I reiterate, that's why TC and the team's research is very much almost like, I think they say future tripping, like what can we build now to make sure that the future, when these things become very paramount, when AI is being used even more in hospitals to help with diagnosis, or helping with self-driving cars, or helping across all financial sectors, we need to make sure that data is real and that data is transparent with privacy, and that's what we do at EXP Chain.
Absolutely. I like what you were saying about the social media, because obviously no one really knew, and there weren't the guardrails there, and obviously there's been some issues that have come from that, socially, and in different verticals. TC, I wish you were around leading the charge when our social media was rolling out. Maybe we wouldn't have so many of these societal issues. But TC, talking about building this revolutionary tech, a lot of people they think of AI as a black box, right? So, like, how do you approach building systems that are transparent, ethical, and fair like this?
Sure, great question. So we are actually taking an approach of mathematical first and the open source approach to build this kind of things. So our software in our ecosystem are mathematically proven to be ethical or to be fair. So we don't have such a black box issue where we are we are fully expandable, and our systems are easy to analyze by a group of experts. So that's how we build transparent and fairness. In terms of the ethical, so it's another interesting area where I'm thinking we are building the red line for AI. It's not that high. It's actually at the bottom line for AI, where the AI cannot cross. Once it's detected by our system or by our mechanism, such AI developer will have a huge issue, and the AI may be suspended. So we are actually building a bottom line where it's clearly defined. It's just a set of rules where you should not. It's just like laws you should not break. So yeah, that's how we build this approach, build our system.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. I like how it's like, it is the foundation, it's the base, and it's almost like we are at that tipping point. It's trust isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's the foundation of adoption, and is that foundation that you've built. So that's really exciting. I'd really love to talk about how this tech directly addresses these concerns. Obviously, ZKML, it's a term that's getting a lot of traction. I know that you've spoken about it extensively as well. But for those who might not be familiar, can you break it down for us, and particularly why it's such a game changer for AI agents?
I think it's more like the ZKML will enable those AI agents to integrate to our human society and make them obey to our law enforcement, obey to our rules. So we can use this kind of technology. We can track AI agent behavior. We can make sure that we have, when they actually do something wrong, we have strong evidence of that. And since also additionally it's a ZK thing, so it offers some level of privacy to the user. So I would say so I would say that this system is let me think about it a bit, so I think we can skip to the next question.
Yeah, no worries. I was actually trying to explain ZKML to a friend of mine today, and sorry, go on, TC.
It's quite hard to explain. If you try to map into a real world system that ZKML can replace, I think it's kind of fingerprinting or evidence collection system, where it's not one thing, but it's quite crucial to how our law enforcement works. Yeah.
Right. It's a big piece of the puzzle that's going to be, the jigsaw of the future, I guess. But I was trying to.
It's foundation of trust, where you can like how we interact. I trust you. You will not kill me because I think the law enforcement is there, right? So it's the very basic foundation of trust, that you will not kill me, you will not steal my asset or things like that. So ZKML can build trust among AI agents and build trust between human and AI agents. Just this level of trust. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Talk about high stakes. That's that's the ultimate high stakes. It's high stakes we're talking about here. I mean, now hearing your explanation, I'm not sure if mine was on point, because I kind of use the analogy of like, look, whenever I go to a mechanic, because I don't know anything about cars, and this is probably a good analogy for me because I'm nowhere near the level of technical expertise as you, but I'd say I always tell them, my friend who's a mechanic, I'm like, look, if there's any issues, you can call my friend. And I feel like then they're like going to give me a fair go, So I feel like I was trying to explain it to my friend. I said, look, it's kind of like having a friend who's a mechanic. You got trust in the system. I don't know how on spot on that is, but it's what I was rolling with.
Yeah, the analogy over fingerprinting and makes so much sense. It's just, I think, because people can't see data, it's not like, in our real lives we can kind of see our hands and see like when we, the imprint of what we touch, in real life with fingerprinting. In terms of, I love that analogy of that ZKML is the point of truth, and that takes away human error. I think that needs to be reiterated, that in maths we can trust, we can actually trust mathematics. We can't trust humans in real life, and we also can't trust AI agents that don't have guardrails. So, in my mind, ZKML just, proves that it can do that without human input.
Yeah, wow. That's it's obviously so vital, and like it is the hot topic. It is the buzzword. Everybody knows it's going to just grow exponentially, and people are developing everywhere these AI agents for different functions, different verticals, and I really do. I do struggle to think where trust and being able to verify isn't relevant, But look, I'd like to zoom out for a second, because obviously, AI agents aren't just changing one industry. They are touching everything. Sam, how big do you think this is going to get? Like, where do you see AI agents having the most impact in the next, say, like decade, 5 years, decade?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely across every element of our lives. Like I see already, how much TC just on our company flows is utilizing AI agents to complete incredibly complex tasks, through to, how, whether we like it or not now, as I mentioned earlier, most of our daily, a lot of our daily, scheduling and ideation and interaction with things online has some level of AI to it, and as the research builds and the models grow, yeah, that's why you're seeing this race for kind of AGI, and and as the models build and become more complex, this will just be across every element of our lives, and I think we're going to see a lot more around government regulation and how we put guardrails on that. But the only thing that we've seen to date that seems to make sense is creating mathematical protocols like zkML that are ultimately scalable. That's the thing. It's not reliant on people to prove something's real. It's all driven by mathematics, and it becomes, that's with the inventions that TC has created, like Expander, which is the underlying prover of zkML and EXP chain. You need stuff that can transact millions of proofs very quickly to be able to make this technology be implemented on the level that it needs to be. So, TC and the guys have been looking at 5-10 years in the future and building and researching on products based on that. That's why I was so excited to get involved in this, because it's not looking at what problem can we fix for tomorrow, although very useful already. It's more about, all right, how can we fix these fundamental problems that no one's even thinking about yet?
Yeah, it is pretty incredible, and it's definitely inspiring to to work with people who have that foresight, because especially right now, like as these things are rolling out, it's coming harder and faster than. And Sam, you're talking about social media before, like that was hot, like, and that took off. This seems like it's moving that much quicker, and it's even more important to get these guardrails in place before we hit any sort of jump in the tracks. And I think that's what the guys are doing here, which is, yeah, it's really, really, really cool. I know you just mentioned government, like, and governance, sorry, and I had the thought that having this trust in these systems, it's almost like just getting rid of the bureaucracy, isn't it? It's like, okay, we don't need to have all these like microsystems and all this effort going out into these. It's not going to be clunky. It's just going to be smooth, and it's going to be secure, and it's the future. And, with great power comes great responsibility, as they say. So if AI agents are going to be everywhere, TC, how can we make sure that they're ethical and we avoid like dystopian outcomes, like bias? Is zkML the ultimate answer to this?
zkML, I think it's part of it. It's like the fundamental rule of AI, and they should never break. If they break, we'll have a way to trace it. And you should think of this. So ZK machine learning makes AI's brain transparent. We can know that what they are trying to do, and they cannot talk. They cannot cheat. They cannot say something that is not true. not his they cannot say something that is not they are designed to do so. So basically, they cannot be manipulated by bad people, and they are controlled. So they are controlled by those honest AI developers. And although we cannot fully solve the fundamental issue of AI, but we can make sure that every single party in this game, in this whole AI revolution, is very honest and is good people in our society. So we are able to detect bad guys. We are able to exclude the bad guys. Here, bad usually means that they're fundamentally wrong. We don't do value judge. So those bad things are, for example, they violate basic privacy. They violate basic rules of our human society. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really insightful, man. Because it's like, yeah, keeping AI honest, as honest as it can be. You know, putting those safeguards in. You know, it's clear that that I think for you as well, it's obviously not just about the tech; it's about that broader impact on humanity, and that's what makes this conversation so exciting. So yeah, we all appreciate it. We absolutely do. Guys, I know that you've both got to run to meetings and you've got super busy days planned. So I might move straight into the audience, the community Q&A section, if that's okay. So we have received some incredible questions from our community. I've got a couple of really great ones here, one for Alzian. So maybe this is one for both of you guys, actually. So is it necessary for all types of AI or AI agents to be verifiable, or are there circumstances where verification is not required?
I think since the verification cost is quite low, we can enforce every single AI agent to be verifiable.
Awesome. Great. Sam, you agree, I imagine?
Yeah. No, I think the scale
100%.
of this is you know, every piece of you know, this should be across every large language model.
Absolutely. So that's a short and sweet, but right to the point answer for you, Alzian. Like, I think the question you're asking is why, and the answer is why not. Like, if it's easy to do and these guys have made it, you know, cheap and effective enough, then it doesn't make sense not to. Okay, so here's another good one from Dane. So what steps are being taken to ensure that verifiable AI agents are accessible and beneficial to all segments of society? I guess that kind of bridges the last answer, but how are we going about ensuring that this gets into the hands of everybody?
I think we have already answered it in past few questions, but let me summarize a bit. So first, to ensure a verifiable agent, AI agent to get to the hand of everybody, we need to make sure that our verifiable technology is cheap enough to execute everything. So that's why we use the expander, where it's orders of magnitude cheaper than others. After we get to a very cheap verifiable technology like expander, we need to think about this. We need to think about how to apply and how do we use it. So we need to formally define rules for AI agents to make sure they are compliant. So I think we already have seen a lot of different set of rules defined by our government, and I think that's a very good start point. We should, and the community should do more about it to formally tell what AI can do and what AI cannot do. With this kind of rule set, then it's just a matter of programming to enforce this kind of rules.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much for that, man. And a lot of these guys, I'm going through a lot of these questions. A lot of them, you guys have very, very similar questions. Actually, they're kind of in the same vein of what the guys have spoken about already. And just in light of trying to keep this as brief as possible so the guys can get on to their busy days, I do have one more announcement that I wanted to drop before we go, guys. But I do hope that your questions were all answered. I know all of mine were answered. I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable about the future of AI agents. So thank you, gentlemen. But before we wrap up, I do have an exciting announcement I'd like to share with all of you. So today we are thrilled to welcome Aldia Games to EXP Chain. Aldia is the first verifiable AI game framework powered by ZKML technology. This revolutionary framework is bringing fairness, transparency, and privacy to gaming by combining the cutting-edge AI techniques like reinforcement learning and adversarial modeling to with polyhedral ZKML onto EXP Chain. Sorry if that wasn't enough, we're also celebrating the return of the beloved icon, the Panda King. So very, very exciting, bit of a bombshell there for the end of the episode with TC and Sam. So yeah, if you guys want to get involved, we'll put the links in Discord. You can get on there. You can play Panda Master. You can join the community. We're really thrilled to have Aldia Games join us on this journey and help us shape the future of gaming and digital economies. So yeah, guys, dive on in. Thank you so much again for your time today, TC. Thank you so much for your time, Sam. This was a really cool dive, on the intersection of this tech and trust and impact, really. So yeah, really, really thankful for your insights.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thanks for everyone listening. And yeah, it's great to be back here with TC. We'll see you guys again in a few weeks.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. And everybody stay curious, stay engaged. And yeah, we'll see you next time.